going to study the most common protocols for point-to-point access called as point-to-point protocol. And most of the internet users, home users basically, who want to get connected from their home to servers of an internet service provider use this protocol PPP. So to control and manage the transfer of data, there is a need for this point-to-point protocol, which is generally working at data link layer. And the services that are offered by PPP, right? So is nothing but, I mean to say many of the services are being offered. So we shall see here, basically to offer the service, PPP defines a specific frame format which has to be exchanged between the devices. Devices means sending host and receiving host. So here, in this case, receiving host generally will be a server. So, and these two devices, that is user and the server, can negotiate the establishment of the link and exchange of the data through a field called as options. Now, this point-to-point protocol is designed to accept payloads from several network layers, not only IP, but other, what I meant to say, network layer entities. So, in this particular PPP, another service is provided that is called authentication, but it is not compulsory, it is optional, right? And a new version of PPP called as multi-link PPP provides connections over multiple links. That is there. And PPP also provides something called as network address configuration, and which is particularly useful when a home user wants to get connected to the temporary network address to connect to a internet. Now, the services that are not provided by what I meant to say PPP is nothing but it does not provide flow control. Flow control is not provided by PPP, and this indicates that if flow control is not there, means sender, which is generally a user, can go on sending the frames without bothering about the receiver, whether it is overwhelming it or it is, jamming it with frames and all. So, sender is simply sending the frames without bothering about flow control and all, since it is not there. And PPP has a very simple mechanism of error control, generally known as FSM, frame check sequence. It is called FS. You got the idea? Yes, FCS, frame check sequence, FCS. Now, generally, this frame check sequence is nothing but a CRC field, which is used for detecting the errors, right? And in PPP, if a frame is corrupted, it is simply discarded, and without bothering to inform the user sending a host that the frame has been discarded. So generally, it is the responsibility of upper layer protocols, which need to take care of this problem of dropping the packets. Now, because there is, lack of error control in PPP, so the and sequence numberings will not be there in the frames of PPP. So this indicates that packets at the receiving end may be received out of order. This is there, and PPP also does not provide a very sophisticated addressing mechanism to handle the frames in multi-point configuration. So this is the basic frame format for PPP frame. So which comprises of, frame starts with a flag, ends with a flag, and the size of the flag is 1 byte here and here. So it is nothing but a specific pattern of bits. Generally, it is 0 followed by 6 ones followed by a 0, that indicates that it is a flag. Then we have address, which is containing, address is nothing but binary, all digits equal to 1. This means that by default it is broadcast address. So this frame, broadcast address, is there, indicates that this frame will be delivered to all the hosts that are connected to the user, sending user kind of thing. Then we have something called as a control, what I mean to say, field, which is 1 byte in size, and it is nothing but the value 3, binary value 3 means 6 zeros followed by 1 1. And this payload, which is a variable, payload is always variable size. Variable size means the size can vary. Generally, maximum payload that can be sent through PPP is 1500 bytes. 1500 bytes means 1 kilobyte, 1.5 kilobyte, 1.5 kilobyte. But this particular payload size can always be negotiated between, negotiation can be carried out between the sending host and the receiving host. This is always possible. And we will have a frame check sequence, which is nothing but for enforcing error control. So CRC, kind of CRC, which is either 2 bytes or 4 bytes. And again, this protocol can be of 1 byte or 2 byte, and the the hosts which are in communication, they can negotiate on 1 byte or 2 byte. It depends. So this is how the whole frame for PPP looks, right? So flag is nothing but it is every PPP frame will start with it, and it will end with a flag. You got the idea, which is 1 byte in length. And as I have told earlier only, so here flag will be always a bit pattern of 0 followed by 6 ones and followed by 0. Then we have address. Address field by default, it's a constant value, which is nothing but all the 8 bits equal to 1, which is indicating that it is a broadcast address. That means this frame will be supplied to all the what I meant to say, hosts that are connected to the sending hosts. Then control field is set to a constant value equal to 3, binary value equal to 3, and this imitates nothing but the unnumbered frames as in HDLC. And we know that PPP does not provide flow control. Just now we have seen that, right? Error control is also of very limited use, and generally it is used for detecting errors, not correction. Error correction is not possible. Now, protocol field basically defines what is being carried out in the data field. What is being carried out in the data field. So either it can be user data or it can be any other information. So this is what will be the protocol field. The size, maximum size of protocol field is 2 bytes, but both the parties in communication can agree to use only 1 byte out of the 2 bytes. Now, payload field, basically this is the field which either carries what I would say user data or any other information. And as I have informed earlier, data field is a sequence of bytes, right, with default maximum of 1500 bytes. As I have informed that it can comprise of 1.5 kilobytes. But this can be changed during the negotiation. This can be changed during the negotiation, and the data field is byte stuffed. If the flag bit patterns, flag byte patterns appear in this field. I have taught this earlier also, that if what happens, at the beginning and end, flag bit patterns are there, but the same bit pattern of the flag, that is 0 followed by 6 ones followed by 0, appears in the data field. What should be done? So here we will do some kind of what I meant to say, stuffing there, and that stuffing we will see in next slide how exactly it can be done. And frame check sequence is nothing but it is a simply 2 byte or 4 byte standard cyclic redundancy check, that is CRC. So let us see what exactly happens. So since PPP is a byte oriented protocol, The flag, this is the flag at the beginning of the frame, and the flag is at the end of the frame. And this from here to here, this is completely data. I mean to say, this purple part, what you are seeing is kind of data. So I can see here this flag, which is the same as this bit pattern 0 followed by 6 ones followed by 0, is a part of data, So part of data bits. But here, in case if we do not have any mechanism to distinguish this flag as a data part, what will happen in that case, that receiver system will see the flag over here that indicates the beginning, and it comes till this level and it finds flag bits again. But this is a flag bit in data part. So, but it assumes that the frame has ended. But actually, frame has a remaining part also. Frame has a remaining part also. So here, what we do is we will embed an escape byte, which is nothing but 0 followed by what I mean to say 5 ones followed by 0 1. So this is called escape byte. So this escape byte is placed just before or stuffed as an extra byte. It is stuffed before what I mean to say flag bits. Now question arises, what I mean to say, when escape characters are there in the data part. So you can see here in the data part only 0 followed by 5 ones, and then 0 1 is there in escape, which is escape sequence in data, So to distinguish this part which is belonging to data, you got the idea. We embed another byte, escape byte. Now what happens? How receiver will treat this? So the moment this frame is received at the receiver end, this flag is seen. So that indicates the beginning of the frame. So now it comes across here. Now this is the escape sequence it has encountered that indicates that this particular part is this particular part. Particular part is what I meant to say escape part. So the moment this escape is seen, this is taken as a data bits, not the flag bits, And then again it continues, and again it encounters the escape. What I mean to say bits. So it will take this escape sequence as part of the data, not as escape this thing. And this Now we will see the transition phases of PPP. So in this particular diagram, basically you will have this scenario, something called as okay, so we will see this particular scenario in which we have a link like this, then we have a sender, right, connected here, and the receiver is connected here. So this is point-to-point connection. Hey, na class jarugutuna Jaya. This is point-to-point connection. So this is S and this is receiver. So this is sender and this is receiver. So we will have initially when there is no signal on the link or the medium, when there is no signal on the link or the medium, the user will be dead. User will be dead. The moment it detects a signal, immediately it goes into establish phase. The meaning of the word establish is nothing but to establish connection between the sending host and the server. So this is nothing but a server. You got the idea. This will be always treated as server part, and this will be in point-to-point connection. So this will be server, and this will have as this will have as user. Sender is nothing but generally we take it as user, right? So this is user. So here, the moment signal is detected from dead state, this host machine goes to established phase. Now, in this established phase, what happens? There are two possibilities. Two possibilities in the sense, it will be if the user and server, if they know each other, means the user's username and password is already registered with the server, and these information about the user is stored. In that case, this user is known to the server. In that case, there will be no effort will be made to authenticate this user by the server. So just directly network connection is established. Network connection is established, and after that, there will be network layer configuration will be made. That is establishing connection between the network layers of user and server will take place, and then followed by data transfer. Once the entire data transfer is over, uh, means done, either server can initiate the termination phase, or user can initiate the terminate phase. And once the terminate phase is what I mean to say activated here, carrier signal will be dropped. Carrier signal will be dropped again. The user goes in dead mode. Now, what happens? What I mean to say, if the server and the user do not know each other, that means this user is not a registered user with the server, not a registered user with the server. In that case, uh, here a measure to what I mean to say authenticate the user with the server is taken up, and also there will be some options which will be agreed upon by both sides, in authentication. Generally user ID and password of the user will be sent to the server, and then what I mean to say, server will check whether this user ID and password is already registered with the server. Then if that be the case, then authentication takes place, and once authentication takes place, again what we have seen here, you got the idea. This particular phase is activated network, and where network layer configuration is established between the user and the server, and finally data transfer happens, and then it goes into termination phase, which we have already explained. Now assume that the authentication of user with the server fails. In that mode, in case of authentication failure, termination is activated. Termination is activated by the server end. And once the server, this terminate phase is activated, then carriers are dropped, and the user, this thing goes in dead mode. So this is what is the transition phase diagram associated with point-to-point protocol. Now we will see the what I mean to say explanation. I have done this explanation already. So we will go to the next slide, right? And during this data transfer, lots of packets can be exchanged, right? And generally, this data transfer will take place in open state. We have seen here that open state means in this open state only the data